Well, it seems we've already got a problem. I've lost a little nut that holds that on. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Maybe some hot glue. Sorry, you guys probably can barely hear this. Man, I was only wearing this like 2 minutes ago and it was okay. What are you? Aha! I found it. Hey, Maui, Aaron, Paul. Wow, that's freakishly lucky finding this on my floor. Freakishly lucky. ZX. Alright. How are we going for audio? We're not peeking out too much. This should be pretty good. Magnet applied. Light. Okay. Hey, Vladimir. And John's morning, eh? Yeah, 11 o'clock at night here. Man, sometimes I'm never sure whether I want this headset to be longer or shorter. Can never be sure. Oh well, anyway. Let's see. I'm a little disorganized right now. It's been a while since I've done a stream and I've changed things around. Looks like I've got a bit of a shadow problem here. Move these boxes out of the way. It's just a whole ton of containers that I bought. Actually, in each of these containers, I bought like 30 of them. They're all 15 cell and they've got a good seal up the top. And throughout the last few days, I've been going along and just disassembling phones or picking up all the bits I've got lying around and setting them all into individual containers as such. Now I've got like 5, 6, just all the different phones, all different little bits and pieces. As for when I open up a customer phone, I find out that the last technician didn't put something back, or I've lost something. Hey, Leslie. Alright, so getting on with this particular machine. That's the Christmas. It's a little bit blurry there. Let's see if I can bring up. Okay. Is it backlight comp? No, we want that. We'll do. Let's see if we can bring the focus. Yeah, we'll just have to live with that. I'll be curious to see too how things go because I just upgraded to 100/40 broadband, so that's basically 10 megabyte a second. Applaud my organization. It's a pretty rare thing, believe me. So, all right. This laptop just came in this afternoon. It's a weird error. I thought maybe at first that it was going to be another capacitor short because the person said it just was working fine and then boom, stopped working. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be that. What happens with it is when you press the power on button, you will get the power up come up for a split second and then it fades out. Now, that's pretty weird to me, but what's more weird is when I thought, okay, maybe it's the memory, because I know sometimes if you have dud memory and these things are a bad socket, they won't post, because this isn't posting. It doesn't even beep, nothing. Even the screen does not energize. You can see it when the backlight drive energizes. So this by default had DDR3L, the low voltage RAM in it. And I switched it over to the standard DDR, just DDR3. And that was weird because when I powered up again, the light stayed on permanently, so it wouldn't fade out. I thought, okay, they're obviously running off different voltages. I think, I'm not sure what exactly the split is. But I thought, oh, okay, it doesn't look like a cap, so maybe what I'm looking for is a particular rail isn't working. The one that drives the DDR3L isn't working properly, whereas the standard DDR3 is working properly. It still wouldn't boot with the DDR3, so who knows? Could be something nasty, I'm not sure. I couldn't see any water damage on it, so I'm hoping that maybe I've got blown something visual, because I'm really not in the mood for another 3.5 hours of going nowhere. So already pulled the CMOS. Yeah, I did that earlier and it didn't do anything, unfortunately, but thank you for mentioning it, because that is something that often happens. How much is that pull? What? Bit too much contrast to my taste. Yeah, I think it might be because of the pink. Let me just see if I could... Sorry about the wobbling. I'll try kill the backlight compensation. That might be a bit better for you guys. It'll probably look better once I'm under the microscope. Unfortunately, my light is being shadowed by the fume extractor. Just yet another thing I need to sort out. Did you have already a problem with the laptop keyboard where some keys not work and other keys work? For iPhone, I usually find that there's liquid damage in the keyboard or bad connect. Something, usually just replacing the keyboard typically fixes that. Oh, Tero Toivonen, I don't know. Is that a... Yeah, I can't... That's an I, not a L. Whoops. Oh, I see Aaron's already answered you. Great. My 140 is costing me $89 a month, and that's with the phone, so it's pretty good going. Yeah, man, it's annoying that this... Let's see if I could... Get a large LED array mount to your head. Yeah, that's going to solve everything. Alright. Well, I've been busy the last week just working on my iPhone repairs. Yeah, just lots of practice, lots of mistakes. Fortunately, on iPhones that are not customer iPhones, they're just old dead ones that I'm stuffing around with. But yeah, certainly a lot better than a couple of weeks ago. God damn it, I've got to stop putting sticky tape on the edge of this bench. This is 3M tape that I use to hold the batteries down. It's got a lot of fibrous substrate on it, and it doesn't come off cleanly. There we go. That came off cleanly. That's it. Now I've got one of those ON B35 multimeters coming in from Amazon. It might be here Monday or Tuesday, and then I'm going to write some software to make that work natively in OBS, and it should be interesting. I mean, I love my ProTech, but it does have the pain in the butt thing where if I want to do diode mode, I've got to switch it to there, and you know, when you're switching back and forth, it is a serious pain. But I mean, other than that, it's a really good meter. I really like this meter. It's got a whopping great big precision count, it's up 50,000 count. But it's an overkill for this sort of work. You know, when you're only doing diode mode and you know, maybe volts. It's way over the top. Alrighty, let's see. So you think main power supply is checked first? I think the power supply, the charge and all that, is going to be fine. I'm suspecting it's something more either with vCPU or yeah, one of those sort of secondary power generations. It really doesn't feel like a main power thing. But I had to really dig around to find the mainboard schematic for this. It wasn't even the same model. This is a 152 model. And the 152 did not match any of the part codes I had here. But fortunately I got lucky and I found a 142 and it did match. Chat. Alright, so I guess really what I could do is I got this halfway through and then my 11 o'clock schedule came up and I had to stop and get on with the stream. So I've just about finished pulling this out. So this is a no fix, no fee, so I'm kind of under my own personal duress to get this to work if I want to be rich and eat tomorrow. Get that power. This is another one of those damn laptops where the keyboard is fused in with the top deck. I hate those. Mostly because if anything goes wrong, it's a complete pain in the butt to replace. Nice, pretty pink. Put that on the other bench where I'll wake up in the morning and need to do something on the other bench and curse. Should probably put some paper down. Oops. Don't need that. I can't see any liquid damage around here. And I didn't see anything in the laptop chassis there. Certainly nothing obvious if it's there. Yeah, there's a lot of little parts here. Alright, let's get looking. Look for the typical buck chips, no silly numbers. So I'm looking for a 2-in-1 SMD station on a budget. What you can suggest? I would say avoid the 2-in-1s. If you go to Union Repair at the moment, they have got a $65 quick hot air. It's dual analog knobs on it, but it has an automatic shutdown, things like that. $65 if you go to Union Repair. Even though I've got this hot air station, and I am going to be getting a quick, what is it? Oh, the one that everybody's getting. I am still, funnily enough, tempted to get one of these little $65 ones just to try it out to see what they're like, because they're compact and cheap, but I think they've got the same blower engine in them. They just don't have the fancy interface. So it might be worth looking at that. And as for the soldering station, I'm sorry, I have to suggest the Hako 951. It's pretty hard to beat that. Alright, yeah, I'm going to go looking for the buck chips and stuff like that and see if we can see anything. Let's pull this beast out. Yep, squeaky beast. Okay, switch over to microscope primary, and naturally we're out of focus. Is that looking for you guys? Always looks better on PC boards. For some reason, Mac boards and iPhone boards, it always looks blurry. Yeah, definitely the Hako 951. Get a real one, not a cheap clone. It's going to be a little bit of an expense, but believe me, I'd rather see people spend $65 on the cheap quick hot air. It's not a blower in handle one, it is a blower in the body, the chassis. It's just a very simple one, but the core should be good. I'd rather people get that and get a good soldering iron, like the Hako 951. You look a little bit... the pain here is I'm really not sure what I'm looking for, so this is going to be a big excursion, half blind. So chooses, yep. CPU. Now I'm going to assume it's probably not. I hope it's not the graphics. If it's the graphics, I'm screwed. That's interesting, I haven't seen this before. See these dot codes on the MOSFETs? I wonder what that means. What's that? Yeah, you're just a speck of trash. Had my hopes up for a second. I don't think this is going to be a shorted cap. It's not really behaving like a shorted cap. To me, it's almost like something's invoking a watchdog shutdown. So it tries to get started, and then it can't find, or it doesn't get what it's expecting, and then it shuts down with the watchdog. Wayward, yeah, you guys are okay. I mean, it's not good that you got solder balls squeezing out there, but they're not causing any harm. You look a little bit slightly cooked there, but I wouldn't consider you. So the person said it was working fine the other day, but then I guess at some point it's going to work, and then not work. There's a one big lithium battery. You can see my fingerprint on it from when I checked it before. You're the Ethernet. You're another buck. You look different to you. Yeah. Keep a note of that. That's, what is that? PQ54 over by the battery. This better not be the PCH, I'll scream. I've had enough of those. I've got some really nice laptops with dead PCHs. I don't. Rehot, oh my god, yeah. Find a USB FET chip and see if there's 5 volt on the outside. Good point you mentioned that, ZX. I did plug 5 volt, plugged a USB thing on the side and it didn't fire up, so my 5 volts isn't coming up. Or at least certainly not very well. Motorman, yes, new camera angle, mostly because what happened is I've got a 24-inch, no it's not, it's a 22-inch 1080 monitor down here, and I've got the laptop up here now, because most of the time I was trying to do my detailed schematic and board view work on the big screen, and it's kind of better to have it at level. I do need to invest in a new live setup. Kind of deciding whether I should get another two 20 or 24-inch screens. The upside of going something like a 19-inch 1080 screen is you get the high pixel density effectively. So, yeah, things like schematics look a little better. Or I can spend big and get a 4K screen, but then I have to get a bigger machine to run that. Is this APU, CPU, and CPU and GPU in this one? It kind of, like I said, it kind of feels like it's firing up because the num lock and the cap lock fires up as this, normal sort of boot start, and then it just fades out, which is really weird. And the fade out to me feels like that. It's like when your cap gets charged up, and then it's shut down, and then you got the slow bleed out. And it's interesting that it only happens on the DDR3L memory and not the DDR standard, DDR3 standard. So, like I said, I think whatever's unique to the DDR3L, so I can't remember that's like 1.8 volts or whatever, 1.5. I can't find anything here at the moment. I'm not yet willing to, but I think that's just random manufacturing trash. Most of the things that are sort of tempting to think that they're a fault, I suspect are just normal manufacturing trash. Yeah, let's try the other side. So here's my memory chips. Not that going by the memory chips is much use, because in terms of position, because the joy of these boards is that they just throw anything everywhere. Aaron, no, I've seen them, and I've been tempted at times to get them, those code readers, but in the end I just sort of go, no, I'll probably spend just as much time wasted on them than what they save. I am really curious about this dot code that they've got on these MOSFETs. Okay, we've got one of them here. So there's the board code. Sounds like GPU. Fixing things. I will fly over there and punch you in the throat if it's a GPU. Okay, I probably wouldn't really do that. But oh look, the smiley face. Sony left us a smiley face. How nice of him. DDR, it actually has DDR3L built into it. That was the thing. That's what was in there. But I checked, and it should be able to take DDR3 as well, the standard. So, and I checked that the module was a functional one. I've got a box of them. So, funny thing with some of the mini ITX. Hello, a little bit of. You were there. Okay, we've got some scum. This is actually the keyboard side. So maybe we did have something come through. That was pretty damn small. I've got some J1800, J1900 mini ITX Atom all-in-one type boards, and by default they will only take DDR3L, but if you go into the BIOS you can turn on DDR3 compatibility, so it will let it run at the higher voltage type. So you put a 2 gig DDR3L in there, then switch on the BIOS feature, and then go back and put your 4 gig DDR in, and it works. Yeah, this is painstaking. It's such big boards. This is like, what, 2 or 3 times the size of a typical Mac board? Yeah, this is all power. This is probably charging. What have we got? This is an ISL 883, yeah, PU1. That will be the battery charge. So I don't think that's going to be the issue. CPU. Oh joy, integrated RAM. Sorry if it's going a bit fast for you guys. I guess I'm sort of like just painting through at main rate. Wait, what am I? Is this CPU? This is probably GPU area. Get blinded by the reflection. There's another piece of junk there. Oh, I think we found it. Here we go. Yeah, that'll probably be it. What the hell would have caused that though? Ah, come on, focus. Yuck. Yeah, I think we can blame that. Five frames per second on your side. We've got no drop frames. I am chewing the CPU pretty hard. Yeah. Like I said, I've just got to get a new machine. Anyway, looks like we found it. So this is PU5 here. And that's pretty damn ugly. I mean, it might be attached to that corrosion. It might have sentimental value, yeah. Yeah, it might do. Let's see if I can bring up the schematic properties. That does not look like a schematic. Weird. It's just giving me blank. I'm fixing things up. I was going to catch throws. Oh, I am having encoder issues here. Okay, just hang on there. Okay, hopefully this is a bit better. No. This is the downside of having... Okay. I'm going to go try push my stream rate up. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, it is very odd that it's all there. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. It's not the first time I have encountered this sort of thing. I had a MacBook Air a few months ago, and it was basically pristine. And I thought there's no water damage on this, and then right on the clock chip was exactly this sort of thing. It's just like it's like a little bug gets in there or something, and then just instantly commits suicide and blows itself up. Hey Leslie. Alright, how are we going in the encode? The encoding's still trash. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to restart Open Broadcaster, so hopefully that will fix things up. So see you on the flip side. Alright, hopefully I'm back. Strange, I've lost the... Oh well, no biggie. It's weird, I can't seem to bring up my schematic for some reason. Yeah, kamikaze bug is about the only thing I can possibly think of. Ah, okay. Alright, here we go. Doom. That is no good. Fit. Yeah, that'll have to do. Alrighty. So we are after... What are we after? Well, this is, I said, PU5, and I'm going to guess we are after PR 72, 3 and 4. Okay, PU5. PU5. Better have PU5. Here we go. Alright, so we've got PU5, and then what is this? This is VCC core. Okay. That's kind of weird that VCC core would do it. Not real sure why that would affect the memory like that. Anyway. Go back broadcaster. Now what I'm gathering from the numbers up here, these three here represent these three here. So PR 72, 73, 74, the mangled ones. It's kind of weird that they're all... we don't really even have any like circular blotch or anything. They're just maybe it wasn't a bug. Maybe it was. I suppose there's a little bit around here. Maybe it was a tiny bit of flux that didn't get washed off during the wash process, and that's just what's happened. So let's see, 72, 73, 74. Alright, straight away I can see 72. So we got 72, 73, they are 0402, they're links. Thank Flip for that. There's 74, naturally 74 has to be somewhere, oops. Damn it, can't control myself. Oh, 74 is 1K9 0204. It's feeding 3 volts into power good. Alright, that is probably going to be our culprit. The main reason why. What's probably happening there is it's trying to generate the power, but I'm going to guess this is close to open circuit or something like that. And it's not going to get the power good signal, and then it shuts everything down. These BCC AX, I suppose these could be at fault too, but they're outgoing sense lines. RTNG. Anyway, so we know we want links for 2 and 3 and 2K for 4. Small hole and keyboard drip could be... Oh, thanks Leslie, I see you pointing out where that 74 was. I should just use the search function, that would have been the more intelligent thing to do. Alright, so let's get this underway. I'm going to have to change my nozzle on this. I've been experimenting more with my hot air systems, and I found that for iPhones I do better with, you can't see, I do better with the 4mm. It gives me more direct attack on a lot of the smaller stuff. On the larger chips I do need the 6mm. This is the 6mm. With the 4mm I can use a lower temperature and air as well to the same effect, so that's good. Right, we're gonna need usually about 460. Remember, this is a fat motherboard. And it's going to start rattling. Put some flux on those. Geez, they're nasty. I need another paper towel. I really hope it is those. We'll have a look at the keyboard later and see if it is a small keyboard drip. Okay, we're up to temperature. But don't cook my eyeballs out. If we get some more height here. Be interesting to see whether these can come off, because that corrosion could well have changed a lot of things on the board. Could have welded them for all I know. Oh, you're out. Oh, that's not good. That looks like a pad loss, that one. No, they're not coming off. Not if I'm going to have to go in with the solder and try to convince them. Always losing my little strips of solder. I'll get another one. Oh, that's the other thing I've got coming. Finally, I've got some 0.38mm 6337 Kester, which would be a nice change. I've got 0.5mm stuff, but it just is a little bit too thick at times. And this stuff really doesn't want to... You don't want to talk, do you? Those suckers are... Yeah, whatever flux is in that solder is very much rosin flux. You can tell by the fact that it just crystallizes so quickly afterwards. I don't want to get too aggressive with it because I want to have some pads left. Yeah. So that one actually has pads. Yeah, Aaron, I tried adding that leaded. Wasn't too interested in it. Might have to run some jumpers here. Let's see how we go. How about a video filter for finding the exact shape of green, blue? Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. And these guys are coming up. Which one is that? That's 74 is the dud one. Oh, that's just great. That's the one we really didn't want to be dud. But it looks like I should be able to bridge that and still get a... That's not where it goes. Looks like we're going to have to do some manual exfoliating here. Man, that is some crazy color. That's some seriously awesome orange color. Can't possibly imagine. Some sort of copper oxide, I guess. I don't know. Copper oxide 2, I think it is. I can't remember my chemistry class. I know there is a copper oxide you can get, and it's quite a reddish, bloodish reddish colour. I think that might be it. I'm going to cut back through the track here to just see if I can get some uncontaminated copper. That's a pretty thick trace if that's it. Yeah. No, it's not rust. I'd say it's a copper compound of some sort, or oxide. Like if you look up the reduction of emulsion green to copper metal using charcoal or something like that, you'll find often that the incomplete process leaves you with 3 states of copper. You'll end up with copper metal ignite, like this nice fresh stuff, and then a sort of a fiery blood red copper, which could be a bit like this. Yeah, they make a good paint colour, that. And then a greyish one, which is, I think, copper oxide 2. Oh, I can't remember. It's been too long. Of course, whatever dripped on it could have been what brought in the extra colours. Now that's running pretty damn deep, that is. Time to bring out the X-Acto. I'm also worried about this one here. And the same thing here. So that pretty colour. Can't be sure if that's a break or not. Kind of looks breakish to me. Whoa. Whatever it is, it's kind of wicked along the... It's wicked along the traces, yeah. Yeah, it's just totally degenerated the trace. It's gone under the conformal layer. It's a shame I can't show you what this colour really looks like. It's a very vibrant orange. And bits of blood colour in it. Fortunately not from me. Vladimir, I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 copper oxides, like CO2 and CO1 or something like that. Sorry, CuO1 and CuO2. Might be worth checking that while I'm busy trying to find where you can... I don't know if it's going to show up on here. Yeah, you can see it on here. You can see where whatever it was is wicking along the trace. You can see the trace doesn't come good until about here. It's all run through there. Let me just prove that to myself by opening up. Yep, there we go. Yep. I would say that's been going for quite some time, and it may well have actually just been a manufacturing... Something didn't get washed properly or whatever. It's pretty funky. If the notebook is pink, that's lime juice, margarita cocktail. The question is this copper any good to... I'm going to have to... No, we've got good copper under there. But I probably should be a responsible technician and take it back to over here. Because you can bet your boots if I rely on that stuff that's previously oxidized, it will bite me in the posterior. It's pretty cool though. Pretty damn cool. So if I don't have any, if this still doesn't work afterwards, at least it would have been a bit of an artwork show. Okay, I'm starting to knock copper off the... I do have conformal coating, yeah. Well, yeah, call it what you like. I've got the green goop. So these two here are going to be easy to deal with because all I got to do is I say jumper from there to there. And I'm suspecting this one is this here. And we can just jumper it down there. But this one does concern me. I think I can just see it. It's got a veer over here, so that's why it's concerning me. But at least I got a good bite on here. And I also have to wonder about neutralizing whatever is causing this. But given the age of the laptop, it's done alright. Ah, the fiber pen. Thank you for mentioning that, actually. I've got one. Somewhere. I know it's around somewhere here. Yep, threads on my pants. I do know I've got a fiber pen. I don't use it very often because it's a little bit abrasive. Wonder if it's in here. Yep, there it is. Why would they silkscreen the boxes around the SMDs? The boxes, I believe, you probably find, like, if you were the person who did this, it's probably a multi-layer thing, and you'll find that this box will go around the perimeter of the parts and nothing else. Yeah, man, this fiber pen is a little bit... No, the fiber pen's just too big for this one. I'm going to have to carry on with the stabby, knifey technique, which is fine. The coating on these boards is pretty damn thick. That's the only trouble. Okay. It's like I'm digging up a mine in the Western Australian Pilbara desert or something. Okay, there we go. We're finally getting to the substrate. Okay, that entire pad was complete trash. Now, I may be able to put an 0603 on that. Get it to jump across to the other side. I'm going to have to clean these up. It's a little more annoying than I thought it was going to be. Why can't I just spend 10 seconds on a board, fix it, and collect my big wad of money, and kick back and watch Rick and Morty again? Or practice more iPhone repairs. It's going to be curious to see what tools and jigs come out for the iPhone X. And me. Like I'm fairly sure they're going to bring out some sort of semi-automated sandwich split and reforming system for the iPhone X. That is the one thing with the fact that they've engineered it so precisely, is that you can then, of course, build around that a whole series of tools. Yeah, that track is barely there. I'm definitely not trusting you. Definitely not trusting you either. You're not so bad. And you're not so bad. Don't go too deep. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone. Fortunately, they're not like long screw damage iPhones. If you don't get the hard jobs, you don't learn. Yeah, that's true. Lewis Rossman would be surprised. Vladimir, why would Lewis Rossman be surprised? I'm sure that guy's seen enough stuff with repairs to not be surprised in life. Main reason I'm trying to get this out cleanly, for the most part, is just simply that I'm worried about it reforming. Yeah, I've hit bedrock here with the first layer of fiber substrate. Scrape clean, rinse and repeat. Yes indeed, Amy. Let's get this thing on to continuity mode and just verify I know. I'm going to make an empirical check and see where I think it goes, and then I'm going to check if that matches what the schematic agrees with. Alternate function. Right. Great. Alright. So we know that's cactus, so what we want here. Okay, that was pretty obvious, that one. This one here. Okay, so I've still got some continuity there. Definitely none there. Definitely none there. Not even a hope. And now where do you go? We don't know. Yeah, you go to yourself. That's great. This, I suspect, must come up somewhere around here. So switch back to the schematic and have a look. So here we go. This is, so we're pin 2. Let's see if we can confirm that. So yeah, I've seen the stencil and holder already exist. I'm just trying to think whether they're going to come out with an automated system to do the whole split. Kind of like, you know, how they got the OCA machines and that. Yep, okay, pin 2 it is. So we know if we feck that up. Oh, great, now I'm going to get YouTube banned. Great. We know we can always go through to here. I'm not exactly sure. I think that comes up there. Anyway, so that's our fail safe if things go wrong. Hey Tart Techie. Yeah, I'm going to put the conformal on it after I've finished everything else up. I mean, it looks like it's pretty much at the end of its run, but yeah. It'd be nice if I knew what it was, so then I could put in an acid or an alkaline treatment either way, but I suppose just plenty of water and flux should do it. So this here, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm fairly sure I can fit an 0603 onto there, and which is a critical. These ones here, I'm just going to run a line pretty much straight from there to there, and from here to there. Now, the question is what gauge? Can I get 32 gauge onto that? 32 is probably going to be too much. I used to think this stuff was microscopic. Yeah, man. It's like a great big steel beam. We won't be using that. Alright. Now, this is calling for a... What have we got here? It wants a 1K9. Now, I won't have a 1K9, but since it's a sense, I've got 1K5. It's only really a sense line. It's not doing anything with it in terms of power, or it's not a divider or anything like that. Why they picked 1K9, I'm not exactly sure. It could have been that maybe they used that value elsewhere on the board, or they had a surplus of them, or yeah, there's so many possible reasons. Definitely not one of them. We don't want to be that stupid. 910. I could use a 2K. That's probably going to be my best, closest match. 68. 10K, way too high. Why have I got 2 bags of 1K5? Man, I hate that. I hate it when I double up on the same thing. They are different brands though. I do know I have 2K 0603s around the place. They're just in another box somewhere. There we go. Really, for this, I would say probably 40 gauge is even getting on the small side. There we go, 2K. That's all I know. Geckos are starting laughing at me. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Yep. Now, a couple of you are probably going to go, that's not 2K, that's some weird ass value. What is that, 30B? Well, the nice thing is when you get down to this size, there's a couple of different value encoding methods for these small chips. And they do not, it's more of an index rather than a literal encoding. So I'm just going to double check that just so everybody's happy. And yep, 2.005. Unfortunately I can't show you that. When I get that new O1 meter, hopefully I will be able to show you that. If you'd seen my earlier videos where I tried to make that multimeter work for OBS and such, you'll realise that I basically just gave up. Because I got the software to work, but then the connection didn't work. Oh well. The O one's nice because it's Bluetooth, so there's no physical contact, and that's important because with the serial ones, it's not so bad if they've got proper isolated serial to TTL converters, but you can't be guaranteed of that. Anyway, so you can get some interesting ground loops going on if you're not careful. This pad here does bother me a bit. See if we can get it to liven up. The tolerance on it, I think, would be a typical 1%. You don't very often see anything lower than, higher than 1% on these. Oh, that was just, that's spectacular. Well done, Paul. It's interesting that the rosin flux in the solder produces this smoky dispersion, whereas the Amtech and a lot of these other fluxes do not do that. Okay. Lewis didn't do any better with his meters. Yeah, his I see I can get those particular meters here in Australia, but after I saw all the failures he was having with it, I thought, nope, stuff that. You can keep that one. And but the 0135, I've kind of taken a liking to it. I like the specs, I like its simplicity, I like the cost. And so I'm going to give it a whirl. Yeah. This is where being a circuit designer has its advantages, because you can sort of try to guess what the other guy was doing and maybe cheat when you don't have the proper part. So I may not be as good as I want for okay, that's obviously going to there. Let's see if we get 2K. It's going to be something less than, we've got 2K on the mark. Excellent. Okay, so we're good. We've got connectivity there. Stop nitpicking, you're going to fuck it up. You got to nitpick. That's the way it goes. Alright, for these links here, I am going to use another strategy, and that is I grab a piece of random wire I have around the house. Come on, you hairy box. Oh, great. Oops. Alright, so I've got this fabulous silicon wire here. Let's have a look at this. Lots of perfectly good strands there. And I'm going to nip off a little bit, of which 99% of that I'm never going to use. I've got a whole damn box full of random things. This stuff is all left over for when I was doing model aircraft electronics manufacturing in my workshop. Those days are over for now. Every now and then I sort of build a couple of things and sell them on the various forums. Just let people know I'm still alive. Okay, this should be thick enough to do that. Yeah, we'll just do one big chunk there. Okay, can I just have one strand, please? Thank you. That should do for both. Jason syndrome. We're talking about SDS Jason, I presume. I see you put out a new video today. I love the fact that he goes all crazy in them, does all weird, different stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Ah, you piece of crap tweezers. Yeah, they're my good ones. There we go. With the wrong angle at this. Come on. I do need to get myself a nice like dentist awl or something like that. Something that can be like a tweezer tip, but far only a single tip. There we go. Often I think I'll just take a pair of tweezers and cut it in half, and then I'll have two for the price of one. Yeah, Jason's really got some, actually he's come a long way in the last year or so. I'm fortunate to know him throughout the process. It's been really good to know him. It's been surprising how similar a lot of our situations are, even though we're on the other side of the world. And I just touched my finger onto the tip of the soldering iron. That hurt. I'm sure he doesn't do that. Okay. Should I leave it? Should I meddle with it? Yeah, leave it alone. There's a little... Ticking me off, man. You gotta come off. Come on. There you go. What? Yeah, that teeny tiny little thing here would probably never have caused any trouble, but I can't hack leaving it there. Did I get it? I must have got it. Yeah, dental pick. I'll have to go down to the dentist and see what they've got or order them and stuff like that. I know they throw out a lot because of health reasons. Yeah, they have to. Now, I could theoretically just put it on this pad and run it down here, but I'm worried that... Ooh, I just noticed something. I don't know if any of you guys can see this because of the camera. That it doesn't just go there and up here. There's a second trace here. Look at that. That would have been a customer comes back in a month and says it stopped working again situation. which is the sort of thing I hate. Now what I might do with this is I might anchor it up here and then come down across that and then over to there rather than down here, because I can't be sure that yeah, that's corroded a little bit in there. So we're going to do a full run to there and then there. Marway, I'm going to ignore your OCD because otherwise you're going to activate my OCD, and yeah, I don't need that. I mean, if we were going to go OCD, then there's no way I should have used an 0603 on an 0402 pad set. Oh, for God's sake. There we go. Which means I should really just flatten that pad out. Ooh, should wick it. Yeah, let's wick it. With my trashy tech spray wick. The stuff's pretty good for iPhone work. I'm not a great fan of it for PC work though. It's a little bit too dense. Okay, I need to turn this around. This is already taking me longer than I want, but I guess a lot of that's because I'm talking. Out of the way. Flip. Fire truck. And I successfully managed to merge that onto the wrong one by accident. Okay. Come on. This isn't even small stuff. This is easy stuff. And yet somehow I'm still making a good mockery of it. Oh. That was just an accidental bumping. Well, it would have been nice if that corrosion hadn't eaten the board away. Then we could have just done a simple 3 resistor swap and we would have been on our way. Oh no, can't have that. How's the encoding going now with the live stream? Yeah, green goo is going to be used. Hey, Links Repair. Hello to Norway. Nice of you to tune in. Got a few people I know in Norway. Normally I wouldn't really bother cutting the copper, you know, just do a straight wiggle and break. The stuff is a little thicker than normal. Okay, alright, looks like we're done, but we need to clean up now and check everything, and well, you know how it goes. Well, there's a few ugly dags in there. Solder dags, I mean. Not sure if people outside of Australia sort of know those terms. This pad up here is annoying me. Okay, that's much nicer. Oh man, did not mean to touch that veer hole. That's better. Alright, I think we can green this bugger up. Rubbish bin. Toothbrush for this one. I sure hope that's all that's wrong. You need to drink 100 grams of brandy to relax your muscles and reduce the handshaking. Yeah, I agree. If only I was 30s again and drinking in. But I do not drink anymore. Well, I do not drink alcohol anymore. It's too expensive, and usually I decide to have some just as I'm... all of a sudden I get a project come in, like... need to do some work on it, like coding. Oh my goodness, I tell you, sorting out junk code is not fun. Alright, I now have to find my green goo, which is in my glue compartment, and I'm not sure where my glue compartment is. No, not you guys. iPhone boards, memory. I had it not too long ago, but then that seems to be a recurring theme in this workshop. I actually did the proper thing and packed it away into its correct location. I gotta say, what I love about this stuff is that this one tube will probably, yeah, it lasts forever. I probably should test this before I goop it, but I'm gonna be a little bit ballsy and just goop it. This is only about the third time I've used this stuff. The first time was the other night. I had an iPhone, what was it, an iPhone 5, and it had a very strange screen behavior where when you first turn it on, nothing would come up, but then after about 3 or 4 seconds you would get this sort of white bloom and a streak. I thought it was weird. Anyway, I ended up chasing it down to being a blown minus 5.7 volt supply. There wasn't any negative 5.7 driving the backlight plane, not the backlight plane, the display plane on the iPhone. So anyway, that was a bit of fun trying to harvest one of those chips from another iPhone 5 because they're all underfilled and such, and it ended up being successful, and I covered it back up in green goop because it's one of those blue coloured glass chips that seem to fracture as soon as you even look at them wrong. Crowdsourced moonshine. I'll probably end up with methanol somehow and kill myself, which wouldn't be a good thing. I had it for 2 years, and most of the time waste more on paper towel than I use. On my way, I just did that, eh? Well, he needs to cut the right link he made. It isn't supposed to be there. Cut the PR73 link. Why? No, the PR... What? The PR73 is supposed to be... Okay, let me have a look now. A bit more open line above the resistance. Let's see. PR73. Yeah, if you guys are wrong about this, I'm going to hurt someone. Okay, PR73 is the full link. So basically, yeah, let's see. PR73 is the second. I'm not sure I see the issue here. It's not crossing over anything. Alright, I'm going to take the time to be slow on this. So, PR73, get that junk off here. This is PR73, it went from there onto this trace here. It was supposed to come up through here, and that's where I've run the link, straight through there. So, let's see. Yeah, I'm supposed to join both pads of PR73. Oh, crikey, I just realised the schematic was over the top of it. Alright. Okay, so let's have a look at PR73. This is where PR73 was, there and there. And the trace itself, it went up to this cap, and then it sort of hooked around down here. And so all I did was I just took it up to the cap that already has the continuity, just so I can get a better purchase and make sure that that doesn't corrode away. Link to there, and then we've got it's eaten away in here, so that really is pointless anyway, being connected to that pad. It had to come down all the way to here, so really we're basically just connecting there to there ultimately. So I'll sit here and wait for 30 seconds so that YouTube catches up and see what you suggest. Because PR73 is just supposed to be a 0 ohm resistor, a link. It is a resistor, but it's a 0 ohm resistor. It's just a link. Look, let me bring it up again. What? Alright, so you can see here, it's just a link. Yeah, you can have a look at the link while I harden it. It's not a big issue if it's hard and then you want to get it off it again, because it's pretty soft stuff really. I am gonna have to look, I appreciate that you took the time to. Well, it's not really a fuse. It's more of a testing link. Okay, it's getting UV treatment right now, and it'll probably have to be about 3-4 minutes. So that's okay. No, I appreciate that you made mention of that, because it could have been something important, and I could have made a big mistake. So better to double check that. Why does it say 04? The 4 suffix on these particular schematics means it's an 0402 size. I'll bring up the schematic and show you. Okay, so yeah, the 4 is the 0402 size. You'll find there's 6s, so like these are 4s over to, let's see if I can find a 6. There we go. See here, that's a 0603. It was something I worked out the other night. It was bugging the daylights out of me too, because I was like, what is the suffix? And then I worked out that's what it is. So it's the size specifier. And yeah, it's this, like here, this XR5 _4. XR5 is the cap type, the tolerance range, as a 10%, and I can't remember what temperature range, but anyway, and yeah, 0402. They most, oh crikey, let's put that back up there. Oops. The reason why we design things with links in like this is because often you want to be able to do module testing, or you're not even sure of certain things. So you put the links in there so you can leave it disconnected, verify the operational status of a particular module, and then put the links in and carry on. And usually it's in a debugging or development process, but you often leave them in there because one thing I've found is almost every time I've tried to design something and make it too specific and assume too much, I end up wishing that I'd put links in or separate sets of pads for the same device, just in case maybe the supplier can no longer give me that particular footprint that I wanted, but they say, look, we've got a different footprint here. Do you want to use it? Or, will that be any good to you? But if you've stuck with one type of footprint, then you're stuffed. You have to wait for the supplier to come in with the new stock. And sometimes that can be 6 months, maybe even never. So often when you see on boards, I wonder if any on here have got it. Probably not. But you used to see on a lot of the older boards that there would be chips that would have like a larger outer pad set and then a smaller inner pad set, and that's simply to deal with the different possible suppliers of the same thing. Where do you find schematics for these? The internet. That's not me trying to be silly, like how it's just a whole lot of searching. Trying your luck. Also, okay, that's nice and hard now. That's good. Oh, sorry guys. There we go. Yeah, it's all good. Always has this sort of weird sort of gloss layer at the top that doesn't ever harden. I don't know what that is, but it's safe as far as I can tell. 3 holes per capacitor for the same reason. Yeah, like with your electrolytes, and that is a big problem. That often happens where you assuming, say, you want a 5 mil pitch on your electrolytes, and you end up getting supplied with 8 mil pitch or things like that, and you get caught out so many times that you end up just doubling up just for the hell of it. Well, at this point now, we can test and see if we've got any luck. So I'll put the microscope away, switch to the different camera. Okay. This is just my UV lamp thing. Nice and cheap. Yeah, I mean, I probably should check around for something else, but yeah, I think that's a pretty damn good chance that's what it was. Alrighty. The only trouble with these particular systems is they tend to be a bit tricky to partially test. The cable routing drives me insane. Mostly I want to initially see if we even get USB power. What are you guys? Your cameras? I'm just trying to plug in the bare minimum that I need. Yep. Probably didn't have to do that one. Alright, got power. I don't know. I'm unsure as to which one of these will be controlling the on-off switch, and since I don't have a board view, and since I don't want to have to work backwards off the schematic, it's going to be quicker for me to plug these in and press the power button. Then find out which damn one is the jump. We need our memory. Yep, PC3L. That. And we need the power brick. And a PowerPoint. I need to get an additional set of PowerPoints installed here. Things get precarious now. Alright, let's fingers crossed we don't get a bang. What are you? Actually, what are you? Let's plug this last one in. I think this is a Wi-Fi antenna of some sort. I'm expecting my power lights up here. And we've got nothing. Well, it hasn't shorted out the brick, so that's a reasonable start. I'll just try and open this up. For some reason, this is extraordinarily weak, or I should rather say that the hinges are extraordinarily strong. The last thing I want to do is snap this person's chassis. Alright, come on a little more. here we go. Oh, our USB test. Plug a Linux stick into it. That should blink blue if it's good. We've got a fan spin, we've got lights staying on, and we're blinking blue. And we've got a screen. We didn't have that before. So that was it. We've solved it. Thank God for that. That means I get to collect money, which makes me happy. It makes my day. I'm not joking with it. This, I would not like to be opening and closing these too many times. It feels just the sort of thing where it would snap along that whole width there. It's scary. Alright, well, now I've got the joyous task of actually putting it back together. I need someone to do this for me. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Pedman. No boom indeed. I mean, there's... this cable routing is going to give me more dramas than the board. So it's very strange, though, that corrosion. I have a feeling it's not from the keyboard. I don't think it came through the keyboard. Because normally if it comes through the keyboard, it has a bit of a different splatter pattern or whatever. So I'm more inclined to suspect it was just a tiny bit of flux or something like that that didn't get washed in manufacture. And it just slowly crept its way under the conformal coating. That's my theory. Gee, these are tiny connectors, these little things. These little connectors give me more of a nightmare than most of the board things. I get a feeling they were supposed to, they were supposed to hook around. Where am I supposed to get that slack from? It's going to take me ages to get this back together. Worst hinges ever. Too right, fixing things. You should keep stock of old swollen caps that you can blow up at the end of each stream. Well, I don't even need old swollen caps for that. I can just use... I've got a couple of reels of tantalums. Tantrum caps, as I like to call them. They'll do the job just nicely. Overvolt them or reverse volt them. And they really let you know that they're not happy with the way you treated them. Very much. How dare you assume that I want that voltage? Yeah, something ain't right here. I should have photographed this before I... The other trouble is half the time you can't tell whether it's just the factory installer did crazy things. This is it going to show up there? Not so well. There we go. I mean, check out the crazy crimping going on here in this flex. And it goes right past a unprotected metal fold over there. Kind of thinking I'd be more comfortable if it went over that screen flex. But that doesn't make sense. No, that definitely doesn't make sense. No, it's just a crappy factory install. Remember, OJ belongs in your stomach, not on your PCBs. Yep. The PlayStation 4 I'm trying to save with Cokes, but ooh, yeah, yuck. Hate seeing laptops and other clothes. Yeah, very hard to get parts. I agree, Leslie. For all I like fixing electronic stuff, I hate it when stuff blows up. Always get a fright. Yep. One of my earlier videos, it wasn't the electronics blowing up, but it was a timer in my headset that I had running to tell me that the camera was about to run out of time. With normal like pocket compact cameras, they only give you 18 minutes or so of recording before they shut down. It's all part of the MP, what do you call it? MP, what am I? H.264 group, whatever they are, preventing you from using perfectly capable miniature pocket cameras for doing good video footage. I mean, I know for really good stuff you want to spend the money and get something decent, but a lot of the pocket cameras do produce amazingly good video, and they're like, oh, we can't have that. Limit them to 18 minutes only, or 4 gigs. I think that's settled down enough. Let's see, I need some screws. Yeah, Paul, do you remember where these go? That one went there, I know that much. And these two, where did you, there we go. Alright, we've got different lengths here. What's going on? At least I shouldn't get long screw damage. Okay, that's good. Right, yeah, that's good. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's okay if I don't need the 10 likes. That's because everyone else is everybody's enjoying the watching. I do wish these things had board views, but that's just way too much to ask. I've got one more. There we go. Gotcha. What do you... Yeah, we do have broken. This yeah, that's a Kensington lock thing. I'm not going to bring out the glue just for that. Oh yeah, that's a well and truly shredded connection. Maybe I will have to bring out the glue. God damn it. Is it not enough already? Yep, I'm going to have to bring out the glue for that. I knew it felt funny when I was unscrewing it. Oh well. What a pain. Glue, 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 glue. So I already have the glue out. Now I need my drug scales. And a mixing tray. Nope, a bit too big. Well, since I am dealing with this epoxy glue, I will be putting gloves on. Flux is one thing. I mean, I really should have been wearing gloves for that too. But there's something about the epoxy catalyst, the hardening, that when it gets under my fingers and my skin, just really, I didn't get along well with it. Okay. Same with super glue, cyanosiliciate. If I get the fumes too much, it knocks me out good and proper. Shouldn't need too much of this, but yeah, alright, we'll go for 8. Ah, g'day, Penov. Just saw you. Oh, now you're 10. What are you, 8 or are you 10? I think maybe I need to get myself a new set of scales. These are only about 10 years old. Actually, maybe more than that now. Perfect. I know you can get 5-minute versions of this stuff, but it never really holds as well as the full 24-hour stuff. Better order myself some more of this stuff too. Although I know I can get it locally, so that's not too bad. So if I get caught out, I can just go down to the local shop and get it instead. There's another stuff that some people around here use. I'm trying to think what it's called. Demont or something like that. It's the same stuff, I found out. I just didn't realise that. Unfortunately, it hasn't broken through the actual base of where the screw head rests, so that's good. This will be a bit of a combination of surface epoxy, and then we will flood it to give it the extra security. Anyways, that is the fun thing about doing these sort of repairs, is you never know what you're going to end up having to do, and all the different skill sets you've got to pick up so you can do everything end to end. And one of the skill sets is not to stuff around with something that's already sitting nicely. Okay, it's sitting nicely, now we can do the fill. You can grind this stuff back after it's cured. I just prefer not to disturb it as much as possible. If I need to take off some, I'll generally tend to use a knife. Alright. How much will you charge for this repair? This is a $229, no fix, no fee. And I'm just going to throw in that for nothing anyway. I mean, it basically is fix the laptop or no fix, no fee. And in this case, it pretty much has worked out about right. Because that's Australian dollars, mind you. So it works out about 180 US. Bondo. Yes, I believe it is Bondo. Okay. Oh, crikey. It's bleeding out the bottom a little bit, but that's okay. I can always just clean that up later. But for now, that's just going to have to sit in and cure overnight, which is fine. And we're pretty much done, since I can't reassemble this too much more. Just going to put this under here so that it doesn't stick to the table. Isn't Bondo too brittle? I don't know. I thought it was... I mean, I could be wrong, but I was under the impression it was the same stuff as what this is. I'm just redistributing things. In other words, I'm fiddling around with something that I should just be leaving alone. It's got to be perfect, man. It's got to be perfect. I think I want something to tilt up the back there. I'll use one of my empty containers. See, they've already been useful already. The reason why I want to tilt is so that it doesn't come in too much this way. Yeah, that'll do. It's still touching the bottom. Right, that stops me working at this bench anymore. Be nice if there was a UV cure version of that. 150 euro, that'd be about right, yep. Rose-coloured SONY, yep. That's it. Yep, alright, so that's it. That's everything done. Thank you very much for sticking around for that. So, yeah, a bit fun, that little bit of corrosion. Took out the 3 resistors. There's a bit of everything in that one. I was hoping to be over in 10 minutes, but so much for that. I can't think of much else to report at the moment. When I get the new things in, like when I get the new multimeter in, I'll probably do a programming stream with that, live stream, and we can try to tie it in with the Open Broadcaster. I have a couple of ideas how to do that with that particular meter. I don't know how they're going to translate to Windows though. For me, primarily it's going to be Linux, so I can already envisage what I'm going to be doing there. What else have I got? Tomorrow, I think I've got some union repair come in. And me. Oh, I've got my panel press coming in. So most of you have seen over here me use this as my iPhone shadow straightening tool, which is just two pieces of 16mm MDF with a bunch of butterfly wing 1/2 inch bolts, 1/4 inch bolts, Paul, put 1/4 inch. But I was getting a bit sick of it with some of the more complicated bends that people are bringing in. So yeah, I've spent the money, got myself a G-tool panel press, or at least a clone of it. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Other than that, I'm not sure what else I bought in the union repair order. I think it was mostly just small parts for myself. So anyway, I'm out of here. It's 1 o'clock, which is not too bad. So it's been out for 2 hours. And I will get back on board when I can. So I really need to upgrade this system, get me some better monitors, but yeah, all in good time. In the meantime, you all take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.